Let's get to Steve Smith. Now the Ravens, their new wide receiver. That sounds strange saying it. What'd you do with all your Carolina gear, Steve?
That's a great question. First, when you said the Ravens is coming on, I was like, "Who's that?" I was like, "Oh yeah, that's me. That's me." So it's some of the gear, a lot of the gear I kind of put aside. I put it up just to use, when you're older and stuff. So it's still up, just get the stockpile to, I'm going to be the old guy mowing his lawn in his old, his old gear when he used to, some guys, it was high school, but, for me, it'd be the professional. So that's kind of my thought process.
Sum up your feelings leaving Carolina in this way.
Honestly, it's sad, but, it's temporary. It's not permanent, but, that's the way it goes. That's what you have to deal with when you become a professional, whatever field it is.
Any chance of staying? Did they give you an offer that you could have accepted?
If I got an offer, it would have been nice to be able to do it, but, no offer, so, you just kind of move on.
Better chance of winning in Carolina and Baltimore?
Well, I'm a Baltimore Raven now, so I have to say the Baltimore Ravens.
Do you believe that?
Oh, I believe, you got to believe in every team you're on. If you don't, then why are you on that team?
And you love to you got that edge, and this came out of college, probably came out of high school. You play that way. Can you still play that way? Is it a chip on your shoulder, or, that you're still trying to prove yourself to people? Describe that feeling of what it's like when you go on the field.
For me, going on the field is, look, you got an opponent who's not really there to be your friend. You got linemen and D linemen, linebackers, corners, and safeties. When you go across the middle, it's going to try to knock you out. So my approach is I'm going to hit you multiple times before you hit me.
You remember I had you on a decade ago. This is the day after the Super Bowl when you guys lost, and that's when Terrell Buckley spit in your face?
No. Who's that? That was in the different corner. I forgot. It wasn't Terrell Buckley.
It wasn't?
No.
But you
Poole.
Oh, Poole did.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was 12 years ago.
I know. I'm getting old.
You are
old,
older. Steve. No. Oh, I'm getting old. Yeah. But when they say, what are you going to be, 35?
I'll be 35 in May.
May what?
May 12th.
I'm 15th. We'll celebrate here.
Okay.
Okay, what do you do better at 34, 35 than you did at 24, 25?
I think, I would say, honestly, being patient.
Okay, explain that.
Well, what I say being patient was through this whole process, since what was made a statement or comment in the combine, and then what has transpired, I've made sure that through this whole process that I'm not come across like I'm bothered or I have a problem with the Panther organization.
Angry.
Not been like, anger. It's like, what are you guys going to do? I just kind of allowed the process to take its course and then process it and not think ahead too much. And that's what I mean by patience. I'm not saying like I'm stupid, but I'm a thinker. And so I love to have a schedule. I need to know what my schedule is 3-4 months out. I like to do those things. During the season, I am already setting up family trips and where we're going, and we're taking polls and we're voting on where we're going for spring break, and all that stuff.
Look at you. I read this, and I want you to explain it to me. David Newton is a Panther reporter. And he says the following: Steve Smith of 5 years ago might have been an issue in the locker room. Steve Smith of today, not so much. He's grown up a lot since the last incident with a teammate in 2008. Who was that Steve Smith that had issues in the locker room?
Well, I mean, I think you're younger, impatient, not just just really responding, not really thinking, reacting. Honestly, the typical egotistical life revolves around you midlife, becoming an adult professional at the peak of his career, having quote unquote the world in his palm. Just arrogance till its fullest.
It's a good answer, Steve. Good answer. But you have to have self-analysis there to come up with that answer. So you eventually had to step out of yourself and look and say, I don't like this guy. I don't know who, this isn't the person I want to represent.
Exactly. You got to look in the mirror. I think sometimes we look in the mirror and if our biggest and our best competitors ourselves, well, ask a few people around you, and then you'll get a true answer.
He's Steve Smith, the Ravens' new wide receiver. I saw the video with the little guy who cried after you got released from the Panthers.
Yes, Gavin.
Have you talked to this little guy who was crying? His dad filmed it.
I talked to Matt, his dad, and it's actually funny. We talked today because I'm waiting on my box of stuff to come from the Ravens, and then I'm going to go ahead and give Gavin some Panther gear because I still am a Panther. And also some Raven gear. And so, but it was funny. He said that he's been getting killed in the media. People have seen this video and has deemed him an unfit father. How could they said they've seen this video and they believe people calling him, told him what kind of person he is. And I said, welcome to my life.
The daughter was fine with you being fired.
Oh, the daughter, they could have been giving away free ice cream. She was down for it. She enjoyed every bit of it.
She just kept saying, "We can root for Cam Newton. We can root for Cam Newton." I love that. Little guy's just crying his heart out there because Steve Smith got fired. That poor little guy. Have you heard from Cam since you signed with the Panthers or signed with the Ravens?
Actually, yeah. Cam actually wrote me he wrote me a letter. He was out of town. And he wrote me a nice letter, and it meant a lot. It was good. I got a number of texts from guys, including Cam. Just a number of guys. Between me getting released and signing at the Ravens, I received probably over 300 text messages.
Nice.
So
that's good. That's good. I thought you were going to go to the Patriots. Was there any chance of that?
I mean, there was a chance, but it was my first time being in free agency. I liked it. I took my trip. I was supposed to schedule to go meet him, but just like everything else, man, I have no regrets of the decision I made with being a Baltimore Raven. It was ultimately my decision. I went with what I felt right. When I walked in the building, it felt good. So that was the best I can go on.
I'm looking at the numbers here. You got to get to 1,000. You got 836 now. Got a lot of yards, Steve. You got 12 grand. So what are Hall of Fame numbers here? Let's be realistic here. 1,000 receptions get you in the Hall of Fame?
Dan, I could really care less about it at the point I am in my life. Younger, I wanted to be all about that. But the thing I really came to conclusion is this. If I make it to the Hall of Fame and I get the jacket, I make the speech, I make my rounds, they do the mold, I still got to go home. I still have my life still has to go on. If I don't, I still have the same good things, bad things, and problems I have to deal with every single day versus if I get 1,000 catches, if I get in the Hall of Fame, or I don't.
Well, good luck, and congrats on the signing there, and great to catch up with you again.
I appreciate it.
Thank you, Steve.
Thank you.
Steve Smith, the Ravens' new wide receiver.